something about my daddy Pedro. He goes to bat for me in a way that I love so dearly, but he was standing after every number. During Rainbow High, he was like in the middle of the song, and that's when I spotted him for the first time, and I was like, Dad. But he's the...
Rachel Ziegler just can't seem to catch a break. After months of controversy, the embattled Snow White star was hoping the Evita premiere in London would mark the beginning of her redemption arc. For a brief moment, it looked like things were finally turning around, until one offhand remark about Pedro Pascal sparked a fresh wave of backlash. What was meant to be her triumphant return to the spotlight has quickly spiraled into yet another PR disaster. Now, insiders are murmuring that this could be the final nail in her Hollywood coffin. It all began at the West End opening night of Evita, where Rachel was finally receiving praise for her portrayal of Eva Person, until everything took a turn.
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
The 24-year-old actress was riding high, glowing reviews, celebrity support, and a promising comeback. Everything seemed to be going her way when she sat down for what should have been a harmless interview with Hits Radio UK. But that's when things took a turn. While gushing about the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal, who had attended her Evita opening night, Rachel Ziegler said, "One thing about my daddy Pedro, he goes to bat for me in a way that I love so dearly." She went on to describe how the 50-year-old actor stood up after every number and loudly cheered her on, even clapping mid-song during Rainbow High. "That's when I saw him for the first time," she recalled. "And I was like, Dad, but he's the best." Unfortunately for Rachel, the internet wasn't feeling the warmth. In today's hyperreactive social media climate, context doesn't matter, and the phrase Daddy Pedro immediately exploded online for all the wrong reasons. Critics called it tone-deaf and cringeworthy. Conservative pundits and Disney detractors quickly weaponized the moment as another example of Ziegler's lack of professionalism and poor media instincts. Within hours, #DaddyPedro was trending on Twitter, but not in the way anyone had hoped.
When I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life, like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to...
The backlash was immediate and merciless. Entertainment bloggers who had just begun warming up to Rachel Ziegler's Evita performance quickly reversed course, using the Daddy Pedro comment as fresh ammunition to question her professionalism and media instincts. Behind the scenes, industry insiders began to murmur, if she can't navigate a soft radio interview without sparking controversy, how can studios possibly trust her with multimillion-dollar press tours? Media training experts chimed in too, calling the moment a textbook case in self-sabotage. One well-known Hollywood publicist even told outlets that Ziegler's blunder proves she learnt nothing from the Snow White fallout. Even some of her supporters started to waver. Theatre critics who had just praised her Evita debut began to wonder if her offstage behavior was destined to eclipse her onstage talent.
It comes with so much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all.
The narrative flipped almost overnight, from Rachel Ziegler's triumphant comeback to Rachel Ziegler fumbles yet again. It was the kind of story the entertainment media thrives on. What made it worse was the timing. Just when it seemed like she had finally turned a corner, Rachel handed her critics the perfect soundbite to reignite the controversy machine. Her intentions may have been innocent, but that didn't matter. The moment the words left her mouth, the damage was done. And that's the real tragedy here. Because Ziegler's actual performance in Evita has been nothing short of spectacular. Her nightly balcony renditions of Don't Cry for Me Argentina outside the London Palladium have gone viral, for all the right reasons. Critics have called her stage presence phenomenal, enthralling, and thrilling. Time Out London declared her balcony performance the biggest theatre moment in years. The Guardian praised her emotive purity, while The Independent described her as simply enthralling. These were the kind of reviews that should have cemented her comeback. Evita has become a phenomenon, with hundreds gathering outside the theatre night after night, drawn in by the magic of her voice. But once again, a single misstep has overshadowed it all.
That was like, Rachel Zegler doesn't have a single movie role lined up after Snow White. Rachel Zegler is making her West End debut in the biggest leading role in a musical of all time.
Videos of Rachel Zegler's Evita performances have already racked up millions of views, and behind-the-scenes buzz about a potential Broadway transfer was building fast. But instead of celebrating her artistic triumph, the entertainment world is once again fixated on her personal remarks, specifically, the now infamous Daddy Pedro comment. What should have been a career-defining moment is at risk of being completely eclipsed. The controversy is a harsh reminder of how, in Hollywood, one poorly chosen phrase can erase months of hard work and critical praise. Industry insiders are now speculating that Broadway producers may be getting cold feet. There's growing concern that Ziegler's offstage drama could overshadow the production itself, an outcome that could jeopardize the entire transfer. It's a brutal truth in modern show business. An actor's social media presence and public image can carry more weight than their talent on stage. And it's not just Rachel feeling the fallout. The celebrity turnout at her Evita opening was impressive. Pedro Pascal, Keanu Reeves, Sarah Paulson, and theatre icon Dame LePage were all in attendance, showing support for her big night. Pascal's passionate support, including standing ovations after nearly every number, should have been a heartwarming story of mentorship and solidarity. Instead, he's now being pulled into the controversy through no fault of his own. Social media conspiracy theories about their relationship are spreading fast, and the Mandalorian star is facing unwanted attention, all because of Ziegler's poor word choice. Sources say other celebrities who attended are also growing uneasy. Some are reportedly frustrated that what began as a gesture of artistic support has turned into tabloid fodder, and privately, a few are worried that publicly backing Ziegler might end up damaging their own reputations.
Like, she's playing Ava Perón in a Jamie Lloyd production of Evita. I promise y'all don't need to be worrying about her career like that.
The situation has placed Pedro Pascal in an especially uncomfortable position. As one of Hollywood's most respected and beloved figures, his intentions were simple: support a younger colleague who deserved a second chance. But now, he's being dragged into controversy that has nothing to do with him, raising a chilling question for other industry veterans. Is it worth the risk to publicly support someone the internet has turned on? For those who followed the Snow White disaster, this all feels like déjà vu. Just when it seemed like Rachel Ziegler had learnt to stay out of her own way, she's reignited another media firestorm, one that could derail the fragile momentum she had worked so hard to rebuild. The pattern is becoming impossible to ignore. Her Snow White experience should have been a crash course in media strategy. From blending a Free Palestine post with promotional material to controversial anti-Trump rants during the film's press cycle, the chaos grew so intense that Disney reportedly brought in a social media crisis consultant and increased security for co-star Gal Gadot. The result? A $270 million movie that flopped with just $43 million at the domestic box office. Now, history is repeating itself. Another controversy is threatening to eclipse her talent and drown out her hard-earned acclaim. And here's the harsh truth: in today's entertainment industry, talent alone isn't enough. Every comment, every post, every interview is a potential landmine. The internet doesn't care about nuance. One slip, one misunderstood phrase, and suddenly you're trending for all the wrong reasons. In Rachel's case, the tragedy is that Daddy Pedro wasn't even remotely scandalous in context. It was a heartfelt tribute to a mentor who showed up for her in a meaningful way. But intent doesn't matter in the outrage economy, only perception. And perception spreads faster than facts. For someone like Ziegler, who seems almost unable to avoid stepping on these public relations tripwires, this reality may prove to be not just challenging, but career-ending.
You don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion.
Industry insiders are now openly asking a question that just months ago would have seemed unthinkable. Is Rachel Ziegler simply too high maintenance for major studios to handle? Between her outspoken political activism, her habit of making polarizing statements, and now her knack for stumbling into controversy even when she's trying to be positive, Rachel is starting to look less like an asset and more like a liability. And in an industry as risk-averse as Hollywood, that's a dangerous reputation to carry. Studios crave stability. They want stars who can promote their projects without becoming the headline themselves. And time again, Ziegler has struggled to meet that basic requirement of modern celebrity. So here's the million-dollar question: is Rachel Ziegler's career already over, before she even turns 25? Can she recover from this latest self-inflicted wound and refocus the conversation on her undeniable talent? Or is she destined to become a cautionary tale, another case study in how not to navigate fame in the social media age? Will Pedro Pascal's unwavering support be enough to shield her from the fallout? Or will this Daddy Pedro controversy be the final straw that convinces Hollywood she's just not worth the trouble? What do you think? Is this just another overblown internet drama that'll pass in a few weeks? Or has Rachel Zegler finally pushed her luck too far? Can silence save her now? Or is the damage already irreversible? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one. And if you found this deep dive into Hollywood's latest meltdown as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button for more insider breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.